The National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, is the agency saddled with the responsibility for research and development of drugs, vaccines, and more in a bid to improve access to quality healthcare in the country. But now more than ever before, NIPRD is a key component in winning this battle against COVID-19. The big question is, what have they been up to? Well, let's find out from Dr. Adigwe, the Director General and CEO of NIPRD. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Well, naturally, the question on the lips of a lot of Nigerians will be, what has NIPRD been up to? How has NIPRD contributed to this COVID-19 battle, as it is called? Well, some may have heard about the hand sanitizers, COVID organics, which you actually coordinated. But how busy have you been, really?
Literally, we've been working round the clock, even before COVID-19 hit Nigeria's shores. We had a project for the Ministry of Health that got us working through Christmas, and even before February 27th, when we had our first case, we already had a plan for how NIPRD will address the COVID-19 pandemic if it hits the shores. The hand sanitizer, as you mentioned, is one intervention that we brought to the fore very quickly. And the way we came about the hand sanitizers, the way we contextualized the formula, put together a robust database of local manufacturers, shared the formula, and led the awareness for engaging with local manufacturing, as well as ensuring that the quality of hand sanitizers that are available in the Nigerian market was the rate-limiting step to the reason why we saw those products in good quantity at good price, and we didn't see the empty shelves that we saw in places like Europe and in the Americas. But we've done much more than hand sanitizers. Like you mentioned, COVID organics, we put forward the very first categorical research and scientific-led analysis of that particular product. And this was a charge by President Muhammadu Buhari, who said that even though we were going to engage with the product from Madagascar, our response to that particular product will be underpinned by the highest science available. And what NIPRD did was that he gave a categorical report to the Honorable Minister of Health, who went on to advise the PTF and the presidency. And incidentally, our report came out 2 weeks, the first report of its kind in the whole of Africa. Our report went viral in both English and French. We had people calling from Belgium, from France, from the UK to get updates. And 2 weeks after our report was released, Madagascar, it appeared, had their own crisis. And that just goes to show you about the new approach that is being taken, about letting science, research, and development lead the way for how we make policy decisions.
Well, speaking of letting science, Dr. Adigwe, speaking of letting science lead the way, I mean, I'd like us to talk about the recent trends across the world, and in particular, Russia's vaccine. Is Nigeria willing to collaborate or work with Russia on the newly developed vaccine?
Well, that's a very good question, Kayode. As at this morning, the report my team presented showed that there were over 150 vaccine candidates, of which 19 are in clinical trials. I'm aware that Nigeria is engaging with a number of these candidates. The Gamaleya Institute in Moscow, like you rightly said, seems to have been the first past the post. I think they've started looking at having their authorization in a few weeks' time. But I share some of the concerns that were expressed on the United States legislature when Fauci made his presentation about there being transparency, about there being clear data regarding the safety and efficacy. And I'm sure that the team that has been put forward to assess who Nigeria is going to engage in terms of vaccines will also be using that criteria to ensure that whatever comes to Nigeria is of the highest quality and is safe for Nigerian citizens.
Okay, just one more thing. I recall the Vice President saying that Nigerians will not be left behind in this race, to get a vaccine. Have you received any directive on that? What is the direction, really?
Well, the truth of the matter is, I will not try to beat about the bush here. When you're looking at vaccines and access to vaccines, Africa has very limited capacity for vaccines R&D and manufacturing. A majority of the 150 people who have vaccines in various development stages are aggregated in Asia, in Europe, and in the Americas. And if they were going to bring a vaccine to Africa, the very first people they would engage with are people who have vaccine manufacturing capacity. In sub-Saharan Africa, that is South Africa and Senegal. The good news is that NIPRD, under the current leadership, has put forward a roadmap to ensuring that Nigeria now becomes a player in the vaccines manufacturing discussion. Using our medicine security argument a few years ago, we were able to articulate the need for Nigeria to step up its capacity in that area. And the Nigerian government under the current administration put forward close to 3-4 billion naira to partner with a local manufacturer to start vaccines manufacturing in Nigeria.
Well,
so
Dr. Adigwe,
whilst we may not be number one currently, we will definitely be in a position to get some of those products once they're available.
I will definitely keep tabs on your progress. But I'd like to thank you so much, Dr. Obi Adigwe, the DG and CEO of NIPRD.
You're welcome, Kayode, and it's my pleasure to update Nigerians as usual.
Thank you.